Hello students, my name is Ms. Priya Lanka and today we are going Business Studies, NCERT textbook. Hello students, now we are going to discuss about the next element of directing, and that is leadership. Now if you see leadership, it is the process of influencing the behavior of people and making them strive voluntarily towards achievement of organizational goals. Now understand there are certain key elements. One, you have to influence the behavior. That means each and every leader should have the capacity, to bring about a particular change in his followers. And what kind of change are we looking for? It is a change, one, which has to come voluntarily, and second is, it is to be done with respect to the achievement of the organizational goals and objectives. Also, when we talk about leadership, it is the ability of an individual to maintain good interpersonal relationship. A leader and a follower, a superior, a subordinate, manager and his subordinate, whichever relationship that you talk about, this kind of very unique characteristic that exists within an organization or in a professional setup basically looks at developing interpersonal relationship between one person and the other. It has to be good. That means if a leader is giving instructions, the follower should be willingly taking it, and he should act upon it. So this entire concept of management is called leadership. Now let us try to understand the features of leadership. One, it is the ability of a person to influence the other one. Second, it should bring about a change that is desired. Now this change has to be in behavioral aspects. It also indicates interpersonal relation between the leaders and the followers. Like I told you, it has to be a balanced and a proportional kind of a relationship between the leader and the follower. Both of them should be willingly accepting each other in the environment or in the professional kind of an organizational setup. It is exercised to achieve common goals. Now sometimes it so happens in an organization that when you have a team, it is there you start building the leader-follower relationship or a superior-subordinate relationship. The superior should have the capacity to make the subordinate understand that by following his instructions or by doing his work diligently, he can actually achieve goals which will benefit both at the same time, which will benefit both as well as the organization. These are the qualities which bring about a behavioral change in the follower. And of course, it is a continuous process. A leader-follower relationship is so unique and so beautiful that it has to exist at all points of time, because of course it is based on a lot of emotional factors also. It has to have a lot of empathy, it has to have a lot of acceptance, it has to also have to be able to view those areas of performance which probably even the subordinate is not aware of. So that is why we say the leadership is a continuous process. And there are certain followers related factors like skills, knowledge, willingness to cooperate, commitment, and all these things which will make, if he is able to induce all these factors in the follower, that is what makes a good leader. Let us see the importance of leadership as a particular concept which affects the entire system of management. Leadership influences behavior of people to make them positively contribute their energies for the benefit of the organization. That means a leader should be able to incite or induce that kind of behavior from the follower or the subordinate in the system of an organization, which will not only benefit him but also benefit the organization. It has to be a positive contribution. You cannot, you will not be termed as a good leader, especially when you're talking of a professional system wherein you are, trying to hurt the loyalty of the person. Maybe there is a subordinate who is wanting to work and make any kind of commitment to the organization, whereas a leader is making him stray away from his goals. That is not leadership. Rather, a leader should be able to convince all those people who are not able to see what the goals are, and he should bring about that kind of clarity in their observation with respect to the overall achievement of the goals. It helps the followers in fulfilling their needs by providing confidence, support, encouragement and congenial working environment. Now you have to provide them with some kind of a support, and the working environment has to be conducive such that the followers themselves feel a part, as if they are not there because of some professional requirement, but rather they feel that the feeling of loyalty. That means, okay, fine, if I work in this kind of a system, if I'm able to act as my leader is constantly guiding me to do so, then automatically I'm going to develop myself. So that is what he has to do. He has to help the follower fulfill their needs. And how does he do that? By providing them with all those aspects. Maybe a good environment, maybe thorough support, understanding, empathy. So these are all behavioral things which we make. We are all human beings. Man is a social animal. We keep on saying that. And if you remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, also somewhere he wants to be a part of the society. That belongingness needs to be there. So this is what a leader can do. He can actually make him feel wanted in any kind of a setup. Leadership can also bring about the required changes. How does a leader do that? He can persuade the follower. He can clarify any kind of doubt that exists in the minds of the follower. He can inspire the follower. Most importantly, the entire concept of leadership is in this feeling of being inspired. And that is where we want to give you a difference between a boss and a leader. Who is a boss? A boss is just a person who instructs, whereas a leader inspires. He himself believes that he is a part of the team. It is not that he stays away from the team and expects the team to work. No, a leader is a person who is himself a part of the team. He is also there responsible. He is taking up certain responsibilities on his shoulder too. And at the same time, he is taking all the other people towards the attainment of the goals. So that is what is effective leadership. He handles conflicts effectively and does not allow adverse effects resulting from these conflicts. And this is very important. Conflict management is very important feature, especially when we talk about leadership. He should be able to stop any kind of conflict right at the beginning stage, initial stages itself, and he should not allow them to grow out of proportion. So initially because again, human beings, it is but natural that there are people, because of their behavior, they might not accept any kind of situation like the other person perceives them to do so. But if there is a leader and there are two people in the team and they are having some kind of a conflict or an argument, a leader is one person who can actually try to convince both of them to accept a win-win situation. So both the parties should be able to win, and that is how you get out of a conflict. Whether it is a small, of course, if there are huge conflicts where the leader himself is unable to do so, is not able to manage, that goes to the management, and that will probably be a part of the controlling system. But right now, when we talk about leadership, he should not even allow that kind of conflict to arise, and that kind of balance he should be having on the group, the entirety of the group. And of course, he should be providing training to the subordinates. A leader is a person, with his support. Like I said, he's not a boss. He's not a person who is going to say, okay, fine, you do this job, I'm going to come back later, I'm going to check. He is there with the subordinate throughout. He's a person who is constantly guiding him. He's a person who is constantly keeping a track on the performance of the subordinates, and at the same time providing him training. In case the subordinate is missing a particular action, he's training him to again regain his confidence and do it the right way. That is called good leadership. Now let us look at the various styles of leadership that exist within a professional kind of a setup. First, you have autocratic leaders. Now, who are autocratic leaders? They are the leaders who make the ultimate decision by themselves. Though they might be having a team with them, there would be one superior, there would be many followers, there would be many subordinates under him. But at the end of the day, whatever decision making has to be done, it is going to be his and only his. And he will ensure that all the other followers are following the decision that he has taken. Then there are democratic leaders. Now these are the people who take decisions, but they do it after taking consultation from their subordinates. And this kind of leadership is based on the assumption that the followers have the capacity and the capability to give inputs which will facilitate decision making. The members are encouraged to show their initiative and creativity, and somewhere this also helps them because it boosts their confidence also. Just imagine a setup wherein you have a superior and there are some 10 subordinates, and each and every subordinate is made to feel important by taking his or her opinion with regard to a particular decision that it has to be made. And now this kind of entire situation is called as a democratic leadership. You also have the laissez-faire leadership, which, as the name suggests, is the policy of non-interference. Now, in this kind of leadership setup, basically the leaders give full reign to the subordinates to take the decisions themselves, and they totally trust the subordinates, and the leader will somehow stay away from whatever has been decided, and whatever has been decided is being followed by the followers. This is also a kind of setup that exists, a style of leadership that exists. So it does not mean that there is only one particular way in which a style of leadership that has to be followed in an organization. It is a combination depending upon the crucial requirement at that particular time with respect to the decision making process. So somewhere maybe a leader can take autocratic position, he will take the decision himself, somewhere he will consult, and somewhere he will just give free rein depending upon the how crucial that decision is, or how minutely those decisions need to be made.